Hello guys, welcome to another test ride. Today I'm going to take you over the new for 2016 updated Suzuki SV650. First thing I want to show you is a cool little startup feature it's got. So you flick the switch and watch what happens here when I hit the ignition switch. So you know how on a normal bike you've got to kind of hold this while the starter motor turns over? On this it's just single tap and the bike gets going. I don't know if you call that a gimmick or a worthwhile feature, but pretty cool nonetheless. Dash is really nice. Apparently it's pretty much lifted off the GSX S1000. God, that's a mouthful. And yeah, I think it looks the part. You got your digital tacho across the top here, gear position indicator, fuel gauge, temperature gauge, all the important stuff. Alright, another cool feature that this bike has is this thing that they call low RPM assist. So the idea is that when you take off, it gives you a little bit of help to make it harder to stall. So I'm going to try out a couple of different scenarios and just see what happens. So first one, I'm just going to drop the clutch like an absolute muppet and see if it stalls. Yep. So there you go. It's not going to save you from stalling all the time. Alright, test number 2. I'm just going to let the clutch out gently, but no throttle. Look at that, and we're away. So there you go. If you want to take off with no throttle, you can on this bike with the help of the low RPM assist. Okay, one other thing to mention before I get started talking about the SV. I would consider myself a new rider. I've been riding for about a year, but I'd still consider myself a new rider. And as such, this review is from a new rider's perspective. Now, I've been reviewing a few learner legal bikes in the last 6 months. So if you're in the market for your first bike, you might be interested in my playlist. Just head over to the playlists tab on my channel and you'll see a handful of reviews of learner legal bikes there, and I'll add this one to the list. That V-twin makes the nicest noise. Don't know if the camera will pick it up that well, but yeah, this has got a nice sounding exhaust for a standard bike. So in case you're not familiar with SV650s, as the name suggests, it's got a 650cc underneath it, V-twin. In Australia, they've restricted it to begin with because they want to sell it into that learner legal market. So this version's got about 50 horsepower and about 55 newtons of torque. And I've got to say, accelerating onto that freeway, it feels like a good amount. The bike only weighs about 180 kilos, so you're getting pretty good bang for your buck there. Okay, the things I immediately like about this bike are the throttle response and the gearbox. The gearbox is silky smooth. Every shift feels nice and direct as well. You get that nice little click-click sensation through your feet. Gearbox feels great. And this is a new bike as well. This bike's only got 8 kilometers on it, and there's no signs of breaking in, teething issues. It already feels really nice. And that soundtrack. You can sort of feel how the restriction changes the power delivery. It feels really punchy off the bottom, but then it doesn't get any more urgent. It sort of feels about the same level of power all the way through. Let's just hop off for a second and have another chat about the look, shall we? Alright, a quick look around the bike. Gotta say, I reckon it's a really good looking bike. It's very simple, just looks like a standard naked motorcycle to me, but a good one. So this is the black finish you can see. You can also get it in a kind of blue colour with a bit of a pinstripe on it, or a red with a pinstripe. I just saw the red with a pinstripe in the shop. That looks pretty cool. I definitely recommend checking that one out if you're interested in this bike. So there's your V-twin power plant, which, as I've just pointed out, makes a hell of a nice noise, even through this standard exhaust pipe. Twin discs up front, I always like seeing that on learner bikes. I think that's a good insurance policy if you're new to riding. Plenty of stopping power. As the sticker there suggests, you've also got ABS. Another thing worth mentioning is that this seat, it's nice and narrow and it's nice and low at 785 mils, which means pretty much everyone's going to be able to get their feet down, which gives that nice little feeling of security as well if you're a new rider. But I'll tell you what, I reckon this is going to appeal to a lot of people, because a new rider can get on it and just feel safe and comfortable. But the chassis feels quite sporty, and that engine's got heaps of character as well, so I reckon it's going to keep more experienced riders interested as well. Alright, back on. Just demonstrate that quick start feature one more time. Look at that. Easy as you like. I've got to say, first impressions, I really like this bike. It's super easy to use. This engine's got heaps of character. Another thing worth mentioning as well is it fits a big guy really well. So I was talking before about the low seat height. That's obviously going to help shorter riders. But the seating position as well is just awesome. So if you haven't seen one of my videos before, I'm 6'6", so I'm all arms and legs. But the seating position here is really good. Like, I've got a nice comfortable spot on the tank. Legs are bent but not uncomfortably so. I could ride this thing for hours, which might not sound like a big deal, but when you're as tall as me, there's a lot of bikes out there that don't work. Now, the most important part of any test, does it beat a Hyundai off the line? Oh no, this Commodore's going to make life hard for me. Oh, Hyundai chopped. I'm sorry I haven't commented much on the handling aspect of this bike, but to be realistic, I can't comment. You know, I'm on brand new tyres. It rained overnight, so I am not leaning on the bike at all. Super gentle. And so, you know, I'm not really in any position to comment on the handling, but I will say the ride quality is good. Oh, I remember this spot from last time. This is a good spot to do a little roll-on acceleration test. So here we go, folks. Roll-on acceleration from the Suzuki SV650. Tell you what, people are going to see 50 horsepower on paper and think, oh yeah, that's a kid's bike. But that's more than enough to have fun on the road, I can tell you now. So like I was saying before, everyone seems to be comparing them to the MT-07 because they're a similar size, similar weight, similar power, similar price. So let me try and do that. Number one, I think this bike feels a bit more spacious than the MT-07. Like I said, legroom, definitely more so on this. Engine response and power, yeah, I mean, they're pretty similar, to be honest. I think standard, this exhaust probably has a bit more character. I mean, there's no doubt MT-07s sound awesome with an aftermarket exhaust on them, but when they're standard, they are pretty quiet and pretty boring. This thing sounds really nice even with a standard exhaust on it, so I'd say that another point there. To be honest, they're almost two sides of the same coin in my mind. You're going to have an awesome time on either, especially if it's your first bike. I think it's more going to come down to which one you like the look of and which engine configuration you like. You know, the MT-07's got that twin cylinder engine, but it's got the cross plane crank, so it makes a cool V-twin style sound. And then you've got this one which actually is a V-twin, so it sounds pretty cool as well. So I'm almost back at the dealership. Really quick summary of the SV650. Positive points: I really love the engine. It's got heaps of character. The gearbox is smooth and silky. The dash looks really nice. It's got heaps of information on it, but it's well laid out and easy to read. You've got the easy start and the low RPM assist, which I think are nice little touches. I can't really think of any downsides, to be honest.